أنت بتحمي حرية الإعلام، أنت بتحافظ على حيوية الإذاعة المستقلة، وأنت بتشارك بفعالية في عملية الحوكمة. كثير من الناس ما بيعرفوا، لكن الاتصالات والتعليقات والمحادثات ديل ما مجرد كلام، بل هي أفعال مشاركة عامة، نبض مجتمع حر ومنفتح. بالتحدث أنت بتساهم في محاسبة القادة وإثارة قضايا المجتمع وتشكيل الحوارات الوطنية. بدون صوتك بيصمت الميكروفون. استمر في الاتصال، استمر في الكلام، لأنه لما يتكلم الشعب
Looking for the perfect radio partner? iRadio is your answer. Why choose iRadio? Here are the 5 compiling reasons.
Trust and reach. iRadio stands as the most trusted and popular radio station in South Sudan. Backed by recent surveys with a loyal listener base, your message will reach a wide audience effectively.
Extensive network. iRadio is not just a radio station. It's a network of interconnected stations. When you partner with iRadio, we'll broadcast your program across multiple locations such as Wow, Awil, Kwajob, Yambio, Bor, Rang, Malakal, and Baliad, ensuring maximum coverage and impact.
Regional presence. iRadio footprint extends to the states of Western and Northern Bahr el Ghazal, Western and Central Equatoria, Jonglei, Upper Nile, and Warab. By collaborating with iRadio, you can connect with diverse communities and target audiences in these regions.
Community engagement. Partnering with iRadio means engaging with communities at the grassroots levels.
Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, good morning. This is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. The Minister of General Education has announced that the marking of Senior 4 examination papers will commence next week following a 6-month delay caused by the liquidity crisis. South Sudan's ambassador to the Russian Federation has said that Moscow is preparing to open its embassy in the Republic of South Sudan. And the management of Juba International Airport has commissioned 4 new drainage bridges in a bid to reduce seasonal flooding that has frequently disrupted airport operations during the rainy season. These are stories and more coming to in this news bulletin with me, Lasuba Memo, and now the news in detail. The Minister of General Education has announced that the marking of Senior 4 examination papers will commence next week following a 6-month delay caused by the liquidity crisis. Minister Kuyok Abol Kuyok's statement comes as students who sat for the 2024 South Sudan Certificate of Secondary Education examinations voiced frustration over the continued delay in the release of their results. However, according to the Education Minister, although the funds for the exercise have been approved, liquidity challenges at the central bank have caused a delay in accessing the cash. He said colleagues at the central bank are doing their best to resolve the issue. The minister hopes that by next week, markers will be able to travel to Juba and begin the marking process. Speaking on the state-run SSBC TV yesterday, Minister Kuyok said, and I quote, "The Ministry of Finance have paid the funds for this particular exercise, but then unfortunately there is no liquidity in the bank. Colleagues in the central bank are doing their best to provide the cash, and we hope that by next week we will be able to call the markers to Juba to be able to commence the marking of Senior 4 examination." End quote. South Sudan's ambassador to the Russian Federation has said that Moscow is preparing to open its embassy in the Republic of South Sudan. Joel Tong Mayae revealed this on Tuesday as he bid farewell to the Information Communication and Telecommunication Services delegation who were in St. Petersburg for the Russian International Economic Forum. This comes a day after the national oil and gas company Nileport announced that it was near a deal with the Russian giant petroleum company Rosneft to install pipelines and refineries for South Sudan. According to the diplomat, between May and June this year, Russia and South Sudan signed some agreements and memoranda of understanding to extract minerals and explore petroleum in the Republic of South Sudan. In an official Facebook post, Ambassador Tong encouraged the government of South Sudan to begin what he terms as real business with Russia. He also encouraged Russian companies to venture into South Sudan. Meanwhile, the ambassador announced that Russia has increased its scholarships to South Sudan this year to 25 from previously 5 offered to South Sudan. The management of Juba International Airport has commissioned 4 new drainage bridges in a bid to reduce seasonal flooding that has frequently disrupted airport operations during the rainy season. Captain Dao Majak, the general manager of Juba International Airport, says that the newly completed bridges has Chinacam, Dalbit, and Nyaing aim to enhance water drainage and improve flight safety. Speaking at the handover ceremony on Tuesday, Captain Dao said that while the completion of these drainage structures is expected to significantly reduce the severity of this year's flooding, additional work is required to fully address the issue. He said further plans to upgrade the airport's infrastructure and bolster its flood resilience are underway. Captain Dao extended his gratitude to partners such as Jebel Aviation Logistics for their support in improving airport operations. Meanwhile, Russell Knight, operations manager at Jebel Aviation Logistics, commended the cooperation of the Civil Aviation Authority of South Sudan, calling it instrumental in the success of the drainage project. Colonel Philip Kwach, Aviation Security Manager, reaffirmed the airport safety remains the top priority for all stakeholders and that the new drainage system has substantially reduced the risk of runway flooding. The airport has experienced repeated flooding in recent years, often leading to flight delays and diversions. This is iRadio Morning News, and now to the international scene. U.S. President Donald Trump insists nuclear sites in Iran were destroyed by U.S. military strikes despite an intelligence evaluation casting doubt on their success. Details of the initial damage assessment from the Pentagon's Defense Intelligence Agency were leaked to the BBC's U.S. partner CBS and other media. Trump's special envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, called the leak treasonous. Meanwhile, a ceasefire between Israel and Iran seems to be holding, with both nations acknowledging it is in place. NATO leaders have arrived in The Hague for a summit hailed by German Chancellor Friedrich Merz as historic and aimed at securing peace in Europe for future generations. It is U.S. President Donald Trump's first NATO summit since 2019, and all 32 leaders are set to commit to spending 5% of national output on defense and related infrastructure. Ahead of his arrival, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte sent him a pre-summit message. He also congratulated Trump on his decisive action in Iran, which was truly extraordinary and something no one else dared to do. This is iRadio Morning News. And to end this bulletin, here's a recap of the headlines. The Minister of General Education has announced that the marking of Senior 4 examination papers will commence next week following a 6-month delay caused by liquidity crisis. South Sudan's ambassador to the Russian Federation has said that Moscow is preparing to open its embassy in the Republic of South Sudan. And the management of Juba International Airport has commissioned 4 new drainage bridges in a bid to reduce seasonal flooding that has frequently disrupted airport operations during the rainy season. That's the end of iRadio Morning News. If there is a story or an event you'd like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message at +21 925 287 870. It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba. Like our Facebook page, iRadio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for the news in Arabic at 8 o'clock on the Lasuba Memo. Thanks for listening.
صوتك مهم أكتر ما تتصور.